Greenwald's been getting a ton of shit. And what people have to remember is like, you know, like the New York Times was like, blogger Glenn Greenwald has a disagreement with the White House. And it's like, no, reporter Glenn Greenwald broke a story on the White House.
Yeah, that's another important aspect of the story that I wanted to talk about, that there was this real rush by establishment media to discredit Glenn Greenwald, which was very unusual and suspicious. Yeah.
And what you guys need to know is they have hated Glenn Greenwald for a long time on many issues. Most of it that he has called them all hacks. So they already don't like him.
And they're threatened by new media because they are a dying form of media.
They're dying.
Print journalism is dying.
Dinosaur hacks.
Yeah, and they don't like this new form of media, which they largely blame for them going under, even though there's a million reasons old media is going under.
And the media is not just journalism, but it's like not kissing ass. You know what's funny? The new form of media closer or represents the old form of media, which was we are here as a check on power, as opposed to we are here to read your press releases so you invite us to parties, which is essentially the David Gregory, Chuck Todd, anyone who goes to the fucking White House press correspondence day.
Yeah, like to me, the journalist I trust is the one who publishes this data. Google comes out and says, we had no knowledge of PRISM, and says, I don't believe you.
Yeah. I don't trust the journalist that goes to White House parties. I trust the journalist that's in hiding.
Yeah.
That's like my go-to rule.
And like to me, this was such a major story because it revealed a number of things. One, that the NSA still operates in tremendous secrecy. We have no idea what they're doing. We have no idea the scale of, you know, the data they're collecting, who they're spying on. We just have no idea. So that's an important aspect of it. Another important aspect is the war on whistleblowers. Because, man, when they find the person, if it's just one person or if it's a group of people who are spilling this information to The Guardian, it like what's I mean, it's really going to be bad,
and they're coming after you.
Yeah, and that's without, you know, fantasizing about it in a creepy way, like some journalists who are like, man, they're going to come down harder on them than they did on Bradley Manning. You know, like, it's just a fact that there is a war on whistleblowers, and the U.S. government's going to hunt these people or person until the ends of the earth.
Well, and think about how sad that is, right? So you have an administration that is violating the Constitution and spying on its citizens, using multinational corporations to do so, right? That should be the story. When that story breaks, people should be like, oh, we're going to go after these corporations, or we're going to go after the person who authorized spying on American citizens. Instead, it's, we're going to come down so hard on the person who tattled on us.
Well, yeah, and then there's another aspect of this story, which is so many politicians knew about this. So many Congress representatives.
We expected people to be like...
And us, you know, Representative Wyden tried to get the word out there when, like, years and years and years ago, he was trying to tell people there is a second Shadow Patriot Act that no one knows about. And this is going to come to public knowledge eventually, and when it does, it's going to blow people's minds. And this is it. Like, we have no idea this is one aspect of the Shadow Patriot Act. Who knows what else we don't know about? But this is so massive in itself. It's a major, major story because, I mean, look at how people are freaking out about this. This is only one aspect of it.
Yeah. So two things. One, get ready for name dropping. I was like, Allie didn't let me tweet it because it was too name droppy. But I was like, you know, I'm not going to get paranoid. They're not spying on me. And I literally looked at my email box and my last two emails are from Jeremy Scahill and Glenn Greenwald. And I'm like, oh, they're listening. They're listening. The good news is that means the NSA got my incoherent 3-page blog or letter to Glenn written from my iPhone with spelling checks about going vegan.
You know how hackers always encrypt their emails? Jamie doesn't have to do it because he's dyslexic. Like, I don't know what he's trying to tell me in emails. I'm like, what? Just call me.
Wait, so do you think that the NSA got my vegan email from Glenn and they're like, well, a code we can't break? They're like calling in experts, like tech guys to come in and break this code. Vegan? What's a vegan? Oh, that's got to be code for terrorist. A plea, instead of just trashing Obama bots about fantasizing that one day they're going to be friends with Barack Obama, which they're not. I would like to make a plea to you, if you really care about liberal policies and you care about getting, you know, the best person in, and do you want Republicans to become president and all that nonsense you always feed us? Do you, just like you say, well, do you want a Republican? I'll ask you a question. Do you want Rand Paul to be the civil liberties guy? Because right now, I see a lot of right-wing sites, I see a lot of Alex Jones sites with points. And that's really scary.
Yeah.
You don't want the Republicans to be the civil liberties guys. Because guess what? They're not. It seemed like Rand Paul...
They'll pretend to be while President Obama's in the White House.
Yeah.
And then as soon as a Republican gets in there, they'll forget about it.
Right. But that's my...
So we don't want to be them.
So we don't want to be them.
We want to be, like, consistent. If it's bad when a President Bush did it, it's bad when a President Obama does it.
Right. And also, like... I've literally seen people have to, like, back it up and be like, well, I trust my president because he's my president and we're friends. But, okay, so what about when Rand Paul or whoever becomes president? Do you want those powers that were set up by your president, Barack Obama? Now they have it.
Right.
It's not like they have to re-earn those powers. They're set now.
No, and that's what's really dangerous because the expanding executive is there for whoever is president next. So these powers don't go away. It's it's not easy to give them these powers, but it's easier to give them these powers than to strip the powers from the president.
Right.
So, I mean, how much more power could the president possibly have? He can already extrajudicially assassinate American citizens on foreign land. He's done it. He can detain people without trial. He's done it, or charges.
He's done it a lot.
And the NSA can spy on whoever they want. So, I mean, you know, there really is not just expanded power for the executive, but expanded power for all kinds of intelligence services as well.